everyone, this is Philip, also known as Umair. Rather, this is Umair, also known as Philip. And today we are gonna talk about something very exciting, be it with respect to how businesses are being operated, what sort of challenges are they having, a little introduction of how this business partnerships between the businesses are gonna help each other. And we've got a very special guest with us today, and that is Isaac. Hey Isaac, how are you?
Kia ora team, really good. Hey, thanks for having me, Philip.
Wonderful, wonderful, great. So, quickly, Isaac, you've been running a river agency for over a decade now, and how did it all start? A person having a business background, running a technical agency, what sort of challenges were they? Where we are at today?
Yeah, thanks for asking. It's definitely been a bit of a journey. So we've been in the enterprise development and the agency space for about 15 years now. We started like many doing sort of off-the-shelf projects, but what we found that we really enjoy is when we can take the time to get to know our clients and really what's important and valuable to them, and taking on a smaller number of larger projects. So that's taken us into the enterprise development space. One thing that's been really exciting over the last few years, and we've seen a lot of growth, but also a lot of sort of a bit of hype and a bit of miscommunication, has been about the pivot to AI. So for us, what has been really cool is bringing that enterprise development experience for 15 years into enterprise AI, and again, sticking really close to what's really valuable and helpful to businesses and trying to cut through the noise because there's so much happening right now.
Wonderful, wonderful, great. I mean, I know you for about good 7-8 years now. We did business in the past as well. And
together.
yeah, it has been a wonderful journey. I mean, you might would have been receiving a humongous amount of calls every single day, and I believe that it all started from that one single call that I made to you, and
Exactly.
that would have been different, was it?
Exactly. I mean, and what I like, and just to bring it back now with a lot of what we call augmented human resource with AI, is some people think that you can just replace humans on the team or human resource with AI, but the more we get into it, we're sort of like, stop, slow down. What we're seeing best is when AI empower humans. So like you said, what you did, you ran and you got on the phone because you built a relationship. Yeah. So we say humans should be good at, building and managing relationships, strategy and creative direction and escalation, and have AI doing almost the boring work underneath. So again, that human relationship that we had, that's the really important aspect for any business that you don't want to lose sight of. Proof and case is all the work we've done.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is something which is very, very important. And I would like to make a quick announcement here as well that Creative Bugs, the company that is being operated from Brisbane, and River Agency being operated from Auckland, has actually partnered up, doing business together in lots of different areas. And since, the real happening that are happening these days are that how we can empower each other so that we can think big, we can think out of the box to actually execute the right way to get business for other businesses. So one of the major challenges, I mean, you know that we are having a lead gen done as well. We are starting our mastermind again. One of the major aspects for every single business is to generate business, and then we are conducting boot camps for the agency owners as well, and coming up with lots of different questions every single day that we are not scaling, we are stuck, there are bottlenecks, and there is a lot on our plate. So the agency owners are wearing multiple hats, and I would like to ask you one thing, and this is one of very important questions, a misconception about AI maybe, that I'm going to fire about good 5-6 resources that is going to cut my expenses short. I'm going to utilize some tools and it is going to automate stuff. Is this going to happen?
Yeah. Only if, and I'll say this, we have some clients in sales, because there's a lot of opportunity with AI in sales, but we have some prospects or clients say, can we just replace a whole sales team with AI? And we say, well, only if you want to close 0 sales, because that's a completely different skill set, right? So what does it take if you think about the lead pipeline, which you guys are really good with? You have sort of, even before prospecting, you've got qualification and what does it mean to have your ICP. You've got sort of outreach, And this is where there's a lot of good space for AI, show me, you know me, all this sort of low lift stuff. But when people want to build relationships, close deals, these sort of things, this is where humans thrive because we have better context, we have generally better relational skills. So the best work we've seen is actually how do you make instead of replacing your 5 salespeople and closing 0 deals, how do you make those 5 salespeople be able to engage with 5 times as many deals or leads because they're just focused on the relationships and the really valuable stuff that humans are good at.
Exactly. I mean, there was one thing that always hit at back of my head as well, that it was a human who made all these AI agents as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, how
exactly.
it can be operated by its own. And the second next, thought that comes into my mind is, how about if there is any sort of malfunctioning at a bigger level with respect to AI? I think that the destruction would be humongous, just if people start to rely on AI exclusively. What do you think about it?
I totally agree. One of the analogies we use at work is it's a bit like, when Godzilla turns around and then his tail wipes out a whole bunch of buildings. It's a bit like that. So if you rely on AI to the point where it's a big, Godzilla in your organization, again, one turn and one mishap could have a massive overflow damage. So similar, just, you've seen all these case studies on these amazing apps like Lovable and Replit, which really use AI to help, not with sales, but with, building out your apps and stuff. And then the next day you'll read case studies of, oh no, I launched an AI app and then all our credentials got leaked, and then, people figured out how to use it for free without subscribing. All these unintended side effects that come from using AI without the proper guardrails, security, learnings. And like you said, maybe in future, but not right now. AI doesn't know how to escalate because it's just another system in your business. So what do you escalate to? Humans. The last thing you want to prospect, whether it's sales or support, when AI can't understand or help them, they will get frustrated very fast. A good AI system knows how to pick that up and say, hey, I can see you're ready to talk to a real person. Let me see if someone's available. So again, it's all about how can AI support your team, not replace them.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's a very, very important point that you just mentioned, that if things are getting out of hand and if, AI has actually made any customer irate about something, there needs to be an escalation. And obviously, AI cannot have the emotions, AI cannot have that connection to the people. And even now, I think that lots of different agents that are rolling out in the market, even with one single hello, people judge that, okay, this is not a real human, and they do not feel comfortable talking to them.
Bang on. A great example, about 6 or 8 months ago, we were doing some phone call trials with VAPI. There's so many technologies out there. For reference, we love using N8N as one of our main platforms, but we code Python on an graph and you need something more advanced. Anyway, so many technologies. One of the good voice technologies is called VAPI, short for Voice API. It was good, but you still have that sort of uncanny valley, 1 second of silence. And again, how does it escalate? So what we found, we thought it was going to be the hottest thing since sliced bread. Because of some of the challenges, we said, you know what, it's good for internal team use. Like maybe plug it into a RAG model to help the internal team answer questions. But we didn't think it was ready for customer use because didn't quite hit those important values that customers find really important. So we put it on pause for end-use sales, and only in the last few weeks we're looking at a different technology called Ultravox, for example, which is just less latency, faster, because again, you don't just want to use AI for the sake of it, you want to find where is the right place for it. It's really important. Where is the right opportunity for the right use case?
Exactly. And then, once we are training these bots, I mean, even with Blind.ai, where you mentioned there are quite a few out there, there are things that we need to untrain the bot as well, keeping in view the situation. So situation handling is something which is very, very important. And just if we haven't trained these bots correctly, and it's a different situation that, a bot is in, we are stuck. We definitely are.
Exactly. Yes, that's it.
Now,
It can't escalate itself. It's only as good as both what we call a prompt engineering and the context engineering.
yeah,
100%.
yeah, yeah. So, what do you think? Businesses out there, any industry, are they looking more towards building new websites, getting new software, getting new mobile applications, or is there anything else that is one of the biggest challenges for the businesses out there in order to operate? I mean, we know that over here in our end, in Australia and in New Zealand, we have never seen such sort of economic slump back in the, for the past
Yeah.
2 to 3 years. Now things are getting better. So what has been one of
Yeah.
the major challenges? I mean, even back in the days when people used to come, they said that, hey, we need to change our website. Hey, we need to make a new software. We need to get a mobile app for our software as well. What are the common questions that industry people are asking for, even once they're there in the business?
Definitely. Look, that's a great question. And one of the things that we can see now is maybe because of AI, for example, the rate and the pace of change is faster than it's ever been. Now, when you combine that with a bit of a slump in some of the markets like what we've seen, that can create a really challenging situation because a lot of our clients are thinking, hey, how are we going to generate cash flow? And it is, okay, you need to, again, get in front of whether it's more customers or whether it's refine your value proposition and your pitch. You need to be landing. But like you said, traditionally it might be like, I need to do a bit more marketing and I need to update our website or whatever. Now it's like, with AI, what should I be focusing on? So maybe having a chatbot trained on your website content, sitting on your website that again escalates to your sales team or your internal human resource, maybe that's more valuable. So one of the things right now is there's a plethora of options. What AI is doing is the production of some of these is going lower, but because there's so many options, it's really easy to just go in the wrong direction and do something random, not valuable. So one of the things we're saying is, look, just slow down just for a second to just upskill yourself a little bit, find trusted partners, and don't go down a rabbit hole straight away. Just think a little bit about your options and think about what's going to be helpful for your business in 1 or 2 years. So a quick example, we've been talking to some clients about websites or whatnot, apps, and we say, hey team, right now we're already seeing people are getting a bit sick of trying to click in your navigation and find things, because why? People now are just used to talking to something in the LLM, in the chatbot, and asking and answering questions. So we think, how would your sales process look if you put that lens on top? So it's a bit of upskilling, and a bit of really figuring out what's really valuable and really helpful.
Exactly. So just to confirm that we have highlighted sales as one of the biggest challenges with respect to every business that happens. They're more focused towards more lead generation. They're more focused towards generating more business, and with the help of AI, can actually mediate between their prospects and the sales team. And you think that this is one of the biggest way outs for these businesses, so that they could generate more business. And then once they have actually earned from what they're doing, then they can reinvest at a larger scale with respect to marketing, rebranding, having different software embedded and whatnot.
Exactly. That's it. And what I think is really important that businesses have to be asking themselves now when things are tough is go back to your ICP, your ideal customer profile, and make sure you know that, because now people are getting bombarded, more than ever.
Yeah.
So like the work you do and we do, it's not about just, it used to be sometimes just doing more quantity, sure, but also what we're seeing now is it's get back to your ICP so you can do more targeted outreach to increase the likelihood that you're a good fit, they're a good fit, you keep your email score high. And again, you can use AI to really support with a lot of that, whether it's qualification, because AI can be trained on your ICP, or whether it's, hey, here's some data from some different sources, write personalized messages for that whole show me you know me sort of sales approach. That's really cool.
Exactly. I mean, this is one of the major key points that we've been discussing in our boot camps and the mastermind with the agency owners as well. That you just cannot bombard one single content, one single, email to every single industry because the requirements are different. And once we have finalized our ICP, once we have identified what the issues are, we are going to talk their language. We are actually going to be talking what they're looking for. And once we have built that repo, that the next person understand that yes, he knows what I'm going through, and yes, this is something important that I can talk to him about. Only then you've got a check mark that's the first thing in the sales funnel that we need to actually tap our ICP so that we can talk their language. They could say that yes, they could relate to it, and then we could take it up from further from there. Now, coming back to the solution that you have given up. I know that we've been working on anything and creating such sort of mediators between the prospects and the sales team. Would you mind sharing something while sharing the screen so that we could give just a brief of how things work?
Perfect. We're fortunate to have, again, from our background with plants who we've now onboarded into AI or some of our new outreach. We're really fortunate to have deployed hundreds of different workflows and really found out what works. We can't show any client ones for confidentiality, but what we've got here is just a little bit of a demo of some similar use cases that some of our clients have, and just put into a little bit of a demo to run through. So, many platforms. Make.com is a really nice and easy to use platform. We use N8N for a few reasons. It's a bit more technical, but that also means you can do a little bit more. And it is open source, which we are big fans of, which means, for example, we're self-hosted. We host our copy of N8N here in New Zealand. Great for data sovereignty. You could self-host it again in Australia or anywhere else. Really cool. Really appreciate what they make possible there. But again, many different technology. For example, when we're maybe building an AI-first app, like some of the work we're starting to collab on, then you might reach for something like coding in Python on top of LangGraph, for example. So again, like anything, it's having different tools in the tool set to really solve whatever problem is important. So this is N8N, which is a bit of an AI and workflow builder. Great. I like this behind the scenes view because as you'll see here, we can sort of ask it questions and see what's happening. So this is what you might call an AI agent. Philip, you've probably heard of that term by now.
Oh, yes.
Yes. So what is an what is an AI agent? That means we take one of our large language models like maybe, OpenAI, Gemini, Gemini. We give it these different tools or nodes here, and then it can start to do stuff on our behalf. So again, agentic means agency, AI agent means it's an AI agent that can do stuff for us. And one of the really powerful models that you'll see in these AI agents is a RAG model. It's short for Retrieval Augmented Generation. Every one of our projects, even if it starts with sales, if it starts with operations, always begins with a RAG knowledge base, because that means, hey, it is trained on our company, our brand voice, our ICP. It knows how to answer questions. That's really important. So that's always the start of all our projects. We never skip that. So this is the sort of things we're probably used to. So we can say, what can you help with? And again, what we'll see here is it goes through the pipeline. This is a two-part process because the first one is going to look at the question, see how complex it is, and figure out which OpenAI model, maybe a more advanced or more simple one. There's cost implications. So it runs through that sort of simple pipeline there. I can help with, this is a demo for real estate and property because we've got a few clients in that space in New Zealand and Australia. So great, I can help with various stuff. This is simple ones. We just had a law change in New Zealand. How much? This does a land lord need to give. This is what we're all sort of used to, just like you might talk to, ChatGPT. One of the main differences with your own RAG, again, is it is information stored about your company, your processes, your SOPs, which is really important. So that's great. It looks like it's reached into the common questions and it was able to find what it needs. If we go, what SOPs do we have on file? Now, when we give our agents or our RAG model more tools to be able to do more helpful stuff, this is when it becomes a bit more agentic. So again, we've built some agents like this where it has access to maybe a CRM, you know, so you can ask the questions, what if our customers are, you know, at this location, or who do we need to follow up with? We have a lot of operational clients, and one of the reasons this kind of workflow, we've built a few of these now, came around, is half of our operational leaders we talked to said, guys, this is great, but I've been too busy. I haven't even had time to finish writing our SOPs over the last decade. So we can say things like, what are we missing for our industry? And again, you'll see it knows, look, it's thinking about what we have on file. It knows what it means to be in our industry, because in the prompt we've trained it just enough on what that means. And then it can answer based on that.
Beautiful. I mean, if we need to cut the long story short, it is going to help us expedite the process with respect to a prospect jumping directly towards the closure, and it is going to educate the prospects in the right way rather than, you know, just filling them up with the information that is useless to them.
Exactly. And one of the things that, to your point, we've been finding is really important is different use case, different requirement means it's a slightly different build, right? That's what a lot of people don't realize. Again, if I just, that's running. So what I've asked it to do is build an SOP for us, and whether or not it needed to ask questions this time, it looked like it was happy because we can see it went straight to the create file. So it's created one for us here, and I'm going to say, please email me via river.agency.test. Let's go to our test email. And the link. So different use case, a different little workflow and build. This is probably the maximum amount of nodes or tools we'd give an agent. This is just a demo. Usually what we find is that the more you throw at an agent, and this is where not just prompt engineering but context engineering comes about, the more you throw at it, the dumber it gets because of context. You know, if you give it too much information or the prompt is too long, the output gets worse. So it's often about how do you have more smaller agents that do really specific roles. So here we can see emailed us. Fantastic. There's a bit of a summary. And if we have a look at this is the simple Google Docs sort of report that it just spun up on the spot for us. And again, this was a simple example. We've got different ones where we spin up, you know, client coaching reports, different procedures and reports, all based and trained on each different, you know, client's actual need. So that's just a little example. Again, we're finding most of the quick wins, which is where we like to start. While it's good to have a big vision with AI because it's all over the place, start with something really well defined, probably boring and unsexy in sales or operations. That's where you're getting the most wins. You know, keep it simple, keep it targeted, and then grow from there as your internal teams start to get used to using AI more.
Wonderful. This is very much exciting, and that's exactly what River Agency and Creative Bugs actually joined hands to do together. And one more question: what industries can benefit us? What do you think?
The crazy thing is, and again, like many people, you know, a few years ago we were a little bit standoffish. I can't think of any industry that wouldn't benefit, simply because what industry doesn't care about either sales or operation or getting rid of boring administration. And here's an example of why I think there's a lot of opportunity with AI when it's done really, really well. One of our clients, we did a bit of a survey with, again, their coaching team, and we found out 40% of their time is admin, which is a non-value add, right? So the boring admin has to be done, but isn't really that valuable. We identified if we can release a few sets of agents which can save them 20% of the admin time, we said, you know what? Half of that, 10% of the time, goes back into relationships and was valuable for the business. The other 10% of the time, your team can finally leave early on the Fridays. Why? To reduce burnout and keep your team happier, because that's another significant cost. So whether it's, again, supporting with sales generation, the operations, or just making your team happier to go to work because they've got less boring stuff, so many opportunity. The industries that we're finding are the hottest in this regard, because maybe they've got a bit of pressure for performance. Again, things like sort of property and real estate are quite hot. Insurance and fintech, there's been quite a bit of opportunity there. Health tech, there's a bit of regulations, but again, there's some low opportunities. So they're just a few, but really, again, it's really broad because there's a lot of opportunity once you nail the use case.
Exactly. I mean, the reason I ask you this is just because that we cannot specify a particular industry, because it is so common for every single business that every single business needs it.
Sales operations?
Exactly. Every single business needs it. And if anyone who has just gotten this demo are looking to, get our services, what do they need to do? Who do they need to contact? How do we help?
I think that's great. I mean, yourself and the amazing work that you guys do, and we're always in touch. By all means, you can reach out to our team. You might talk to me or one of the other guys. And, like what we say, really upskill yourself and find trusted partners like what, you guys and what we work to be. We're not interested in taking on work if it's not going to be a win-win, if it's not going to work for them or for us. And we work with you guys because we know you've got the same mindset. But really, just get in touch, and it all starts with a conversation, have a vision, and then let's see what's possible.
Exactly. So anyone who's listening, if you're in Australia, we'll be more than happy to book up a meet in person. If anyone is in New Zealand, Isaac and his team will be more than happy getting in touch. So if you think that this is one of the biggest issues for you as well, and you can relate to it, definitely hit us up, and we'll definitely be helping you out. And another thing to every single agency running out there in New Zealand, Australia, or even in Pakistan, sales is one of the biggest issues that we're having, and all the interpersonal skills, all the relationship building, it all starts with how we are going to connect with our prospect. And this is something that we've been doing at Lead Gen Done in the mastermind as well as in the boot camps as well. So anyone who would like to get enrolled in that too, they can get in touch with us as well. One thing, just a little shout out from your side, maybe because you hired resources from us back in Pakistan. What do you think the amount of talent do we have here in Pakistan? Is this something that is satisfactory? What sort of services with respect to staff augmentation was? Just if you'd like to throw some light.
Yeah, for sure. And I think what's great with working for you guys is again, it's not just any old resource. It's about finding people who are really engaged in what they do. Again, whether you want to use the term, VA or offshore developer, it's about you guys are great at finding talent who are still engaged at what they do. And what we've been really excited to see with these opportunities is what we call augmented AI. And again, we've fast learned that you can't just have AI, you need team members that they can escalate to. So the kind of talent that you guys find is what we're finding is a really good sort of first layer of escalation for AI. You've got switched on people who like what they do, broad set of skills, augmented AI, that's what we think is a big opportunity.
Thank you so much for that. And I believe that we have thrown some users out there to the people so that they can think about it. And we'll definitely stay in touch. We'll be coming up with some new content as well. Again, highlighting the common issues, specifically in the APAC region, Australia and New Zealand, because that's where we are based. And we can actually relate to the people out here. And if anyone is having any sort of trouble, we are just a message away.
Exactly. Again, team, that is Isaac from River Agency here in Auckland, New Zealand, working with Philip and the amazing team and the work they do. Look, start on your AI journey and get in touch when ready. Cheers, team.
Thanks. Thank you so much. So signing off, Philip from Creative Bugs and Isaac from River Agency. We'll be back soon. Thanks.
Thanks, team. See you.
Sure. Yeah, bye.